Good morning, everyone, and depending on what period you're in, happy Wednesday or Thursday. We're going to try something a little different today. I'm going to give you a brief screencast lecture, and what I'd like you to do is today we're talking about the stock market. And on the left side of your Cornell notes, so you're going to put these notes in your Cornell Master, like you always do. On the left side of the Cornell notes, these are your topics, and then on the right side, you're going to put about 2, 3, 4 bullet points for each topic. So just like you've been doing all year, you don't have to copy down word for word what I'm saying about each topic. Just summarize in your own words. And again, these are the topics on the left side, and then on the right side, you put down 3 or 4 bullet points. And if I'm going too fast, easy, just pause it, rewind, play it again. So here we go. Let's start our journey. So up at the top, the title of today's lecture is the stock market. So I'm no expert on the stock market. I don't personally invest money in the stock market. If you really want to know the nuts and the bolts and the details and slice and dice and really figure out how to make money or avoid losing money in the stock market, I'm not your guy. You would want to go on the line and do some further research. But I'm just going to give you some basics of how this works. And again, I'm not an expert. I can give you some basic information. I've never personally invested in the stock market. I've had friends that do that. I remember in early 2000, I had a friend that was just convinced that we needed to invest in a donut place that was popping all over Southern California known as Krispy Kreme Donuts. And I was like, what's the big deal about donuts? Why would I want to invest in this? And well, sure enough, there was this Krispy Kreme craze in the early 2000s, and my friend made $10,000 on Krispy Kreme stock. Go figure. So sometimes stock market is just getting lucky, investing at the right time, finding that product that's just hitting the market, that's just about to get hot. But it also can be very, very risky. I've got another friend who his goal was to make $1 million in the stock market. And he once was, he had made $250,000 in the stock market. And a lot of us were telling him, man, cash out. You got $250,000. But he was like, 250, that's not the goal. The goal's $1 million. So he hung in there, and now he's lost $10,000 in the stock market. So a big part of the stock market is knowing when to get in, when to get out, and can be very exciting yet risky stuff. So our first topic on the left side is investing in stock. So when it comes to investing in stock, businesses want to sell their stock because they're trying to raise money for their business. So as the investor, what you do is you buy shares of stock. And so you buy shares in Krispy Kreme donuts, or you buy shares of stock in Amazon or Chick-fil-A, Facebook, you name it. Just any type of business that you're investing in, you buy shares of stock. Okay, so some stock market basics. So you buy the stock, and you hold on to the stock for a while. There's different type. Now, if you want to really get into the details, there's things called futures, options. I'm not going to get into all of that because it can be very confusing, but you can do further research if you like. Also, I know you guys got a lot to do with your other classes, so I don't want to keep you here all day. Or in this pandemic, in this quarantine, you might be bored and you might be tired of watching Netflix or Hulu or scrolling on the line on YouTube, and you might want to do some extra research on the stock market. So type in futures or type in options, call options. Those are different details when it comes to the stock market. But the basic thing, stock market basics, is you purchase the stock, and after a certain amount of time period, you sell the stock. you're either going to have capital gain or capital loss. So if you sell the stock for more than what you bought it, then you have capital gain. So if you invest, $5,000 in a company, and then you sell that stock for $8,000, you made $3,000. The other flip side is you could have capital loss. If you invest $1,000 in stock and then you end up selling it for $200, you lost $800. So you either have capital gain, capital loss. Types of stock. The different types of stock are income stock, growth stock, common stock, preferred stock. Again, this can get very confusing. So if you want to look up the details, feel free on your own to look up what the different types of stock market stock are. The risk of the stock market. Well, the biggest risk is you can lose money. And so when you invest in the stock market, there's no guarantees that the business you're investing in is going to do well. Sometimes you got lucky. People in the 50s that invested in McDonald's when it first came out, they made millions. So, you want to do your research on your stock. You want to know who's hot, who's not. We'll get to in a second here people that can advise you on certain stock. But again, the biggest risk is you can lose your money. Sometimes also the risk is how long do you hold on to the stock? You invest in stock. The stock is making money. Do you cash in your chips, or do you hold on to the stock a little longer and see if it makes more money? If you cash out too early and the stock really jumps up, then that can be a frustrating thing as well. Stock trading. So the way stock trading works is most of the time you go through a stockbroker. So a stockbroker is going to link buyers and sellers. And so a stockbroker is going to link you to the business that is trying to sell your stock, and the stockbroker is going to give you advice. Recommend that you buy a certain amount of shares with one stock or a certain amount of shares with another stock, who to avoid, who's hot, who's not. And stockbrokers, they work for brokerage firms. And then obviously they charge a commission. So if you're a stockbroker and you give people, good advice and they make a ton of money in their stock, then you earn a little bit of profit yourself. And then obviously the motivation as a stockbroker is if, I give good advice and people make money, then they're going to continue coming to me for advice, or they're going to tell maybe some friends that they have that are interested in investing in stock, and they're going to recommend me as a stockbroker to use. Obviously, if I screw it up and I lose somebody money, I might not only lose that client, I might get a bad Yelp review. And there's obviously a lot of motivation for me as a stockbroker to give good advice. Stock exchange. So you have the New York Stock Exchange and you have NASDAQ. The New York Stock Exchange is where a lot of stock is purchased. Most of the main businesses in the world are on the New York Stock Exchange. So this is where the stockbroker links the buyers and sellers. And then you have NASDAQ, the NASDAQ Stock Exchange, and that is over-the-counter stock. So that is stock that is not purchased on the New York Stock Exchange, but you purchase that stock online. So these would be like a lot of smaller businesses sell their stock on NASDAQ. The next topic is evaluating the market. So how do we evaluate the stock market? Well, the stock market is either a bull market or it's a bear market. So a bull market means stock is high, stocks are doing well. This is the time to invest. This is the time to buy. Profits are going up. So this is known as a bull market. This is when the economy is doing good. When Bill Clinton was president in the 90s, in the late 90s, the stock market was very high. It was a very bullish market. When I was president, the stock market was doing very well. That's just little Bill Clinton for you, a little humor for you during this quarantine. Then you have a bear market. A bear market means the stock market is not doing well. This would be the time to sell because profits are going down, stock is going down, and oftentimes you hear bear and bull for different evaluations. Like when a scout is evaluating an athlete, they'll go on bullish on his potential. That means that athlete could do well as he moves on to the pros, or you'll hear him go, I'm kind of bearish on his abilities. I don't think his skill set will transfer to the next level. And where else you evaluate the market is the Dow Jones and the SP and 500. So if you were to go on the line and Google the Dow Jones, this is where you could read the stock market. And the Dow Jones gives you daily updates on which stock has gone up for the day, which stock has gone down for the day, their weekly ratings, monthly ratings. And the Dow Jones deals with the big boys. So, your top 30 businesses in the country are on the Dow Jones. So this is going to tell you, Walmart, McDonald's, how these type of companies are doing with their stock. The SP and 500 gives you a broader picture of the stock market, and this looks at 500 companies around the country, and again, gives you their daily ratings or weekly ratings or monthly ratings, whose stock is going up, whose stock is going down. Last topic, major crashes. So there have been, many historic stock market crashes, but four that come to mind. The first would be 1929, October 29th, 1929. It's known as Black Tuesday. The stock market crashed on a Tuesday. And you studied this in U.S. history. The 1920s had been an age of prosperity, the roaring 20s. And then, a lot of people were investing in the stock market. A lot of people were buying too much on credit. People invested their life savings in the stock market because for the first time in the 20s, people had made $1 million in the stock market. So everybody thought they could do it. And the whole thing came crashing down in 1929. People lost everything overnight. The joke was if you wanted to jump out of a window on Wall Street to find a place in line, because people literally jumped out of windows that day because they had gone from $1 million to being broke all in a day, and people were panicking, and that's what put us into the 1930s and the Great Depression. And then, of course, we know FDR and the New Deal and World War II got us out of the Great Depression. A crash that occurred in my lifetime would be September 11th, 2001. This is known as 9/11. When the airplanes crashed into the Twin Towers. So after that happened, everyone was afraid to fly. So people stopped traveling. So as people stop traveling, business goes down at hotels, businesses go down with rent-a-cars, people stop going out to eat at restaurants, people stop going to sporting events. People were just terrified. And so the economy took a big hit in 2001. 2008, we had the financial crisis. You remember I showed you a video on the great financial crisis and the bank bailouts in 2008. This happened with the faulty mortgage loans. A lot of people bought homes that they couldn't afford. We've talked about real estate, how you try to flip a house. You buy a house, you try to fix it up, and then sell it for more than what you bought it for. Well, the value of everybody's homes was going down, and this caused a dip in the stock market. So the economy almost went under in 2008 as George Bush was leaving office and Obama was transitioning in. And then the next major crash we're all experiencing right now would be 2020 because of the coronavirus and COVID-19. The whole country has shut down, and we're all at home. No one's going out to eat, or if you are going out to eat, you have to get it to go. Gyms have shut down, barbershops, nail salons. Now, I'm doing this lecture a week before I'm actually going to post this, so I'm actually doing this right now. What is today? Today is Tuesday, April 21st, and you'll be receiving this lecture on Tuesday, April 28th, no, Wednesday, April 29th, or Thursday, April 30th. So I don't know, maybe the country has opened up in certain parts of the country in the last 9 days. I'm guessing most places it hasn't. Here in California, I'm guessing we're all still on lockdown. And so obviously COVID's had a huge impact on the economy and the stock market, and many stocks are going down. Of course, you're going to do an assignment today, some research on the stock market, because some companies might be in high demand. You might have some companies that have really gone up. So that is today's lecture. If you've missed anything, rewind. Remember, you should have 3 or 4 bullets for each of these topics. The topics went on the left side. Your bullets went on the right side. Last thing I want you to do, I want you to watch the crash course video that I've posted. Begin watching the crash course video at the 6:30 mark, and I'd like you to write down 3 bullets about what crash course says about bonds, and 3 bullets about what the video says about the stock market. So that'd be six bullets. Then I gave you an assignment today, a writing assignment that you're going to do about how COVID has affected the stock market. And so that will be due on Sunday, but you know, if you can get it done today or tomorrow, so you don't have any homework for econ over the weekend. And that is the last assignment for the week. Check back next week with the next assignment, and I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope everyone's staying safe, social distancing, washing their hands, and take care, everybody.